Sister-wise, you know. So at this point, you know, unless I think my time is up. Unless there's some other questions or something.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that beautiful presentation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. We're going to have the questions and the comments later. And we want to also see if we can have Sister Atura, Havaya, and Sister Geora. Sister Havaya and Geora.
Shalom, shalom. We are so honored to be here. Can you hear us pretty good?
Absolutely, absolutely. Go on.
We are so be here. Particular subject because Gilroy have been in divine marriage for 35 years, and it's been a journey. We want to start out saying, just like Takia did, we were in the beginning stages and no one really knew. There wasn't a set journey on go. You had to kind of figure it out as you were going. So in the beginning, things be a little rocky, but guess what? All praises to the Creator, Yahweh. We stayed the course and everything worked out fine. You can't give up in the beginning because you don't understand. You have to just continue and things will work out. Being in divine marriage for 35 years, what I want to say is caused me to accept divine marriage. There's so many single women around the world, not just in our culture. So many more women without men. So how could we be selfish and you have a husband and you know there's hundreds of women without one and someone wants to cling to your husband, if she's a good spirit and she wants to come into your family and help and be a part of it, you have to have open arms to her. That's Yah's way, God's way. And that's what made me really want to accept divine marriage. One of the things that can cause first of all, divine marriage can be your heaven or your hell, how you see it, how you view it, how you perceive it. And if you are a sister that has those open arms and are full of love and compassion for your sister, it's going to be heaven for you. But you have to let go of insecurities. You have to let go of jealousies. Because Takia said it, you were growing up in a world that said, that's my man and mine's only, and I don't want to share. So you were taught that. So you had to relearn what it is in sharing. Once you learn this, you will stop being insecure. If you married a brother, and when you all took those vows, you all loved one another. And you were going to do for him and he was going to do for you. You have to know if you have a good man, that's who you marry, that he's going to look out for you and have your best interest at hand. Because if he doesn't, things aren't going to work. I want to say something about bonding with a brother. When you have a good bond and someone else joins that bond, you don't have to worry. Brothers in relationships have to do one thing that's real key. Love his wives. Number two, be balanced. Balance is the key. If you married a brother or if you're going into a relationship and he's not treating his first wife proper, you're not going to want to be in it anyway. But if you see a man treating his wife good, you're going to be a part of that. If the brother is balanced and he treats both of you good, there's no insecurities. There's no reason to be jealous. That's the key. The brothers are the backbone, okay? They are the ones that have to steer things forward. They have to make everybody feel loved and comfortable. And second, the sisters have to have those open arms, like I said. So if the sister has open arms and the sister going into the relationship respects the sister that's already in that relationship and give her honor, that doesn't leave room for any big problems. But all of those things have to be dealt with in the beginning. Brothers have to allow their wives to be individuals, okay? You can't clump everything into the bag, meaning, just say it's my birthday or my anniversary or Gilrad's birthday or Gilrad's anniversary. I don't expect my husband, Nasi Eliyahu, and Gilrad's husband to bring us home both a gift. I would expect that I would get a gift because it's my birthday, or if it's Gilrad's anniversary, she would expect to get him something special. You have to allow the sisters their own special time, and you have to make it big. And the brothers can't be worried about if the other sister's gonna be upset because he's doing something for her birthday or the other one's birthday. It's their special time, and you have to give them that. Other than that, that's gonna cause a problem. And you can't expect the brothers to not know this. They have to learn this. They have to learn their own wives. The wives have to teach them and they have to listen. Gilrod and I are individuals. Gilrod doesn't like the same things I like all the time, and I don't like the same things she likes. So if Gilrod wants to stay home and I want to go to the beach, it's okay. We're individuals. So many brothers make a mistake, and that mistake is not allowing sisters to be their own individual selves. That's key in relationship. When we first began our relationship, Gilra and I, we would sit and we would discuss things. She would tell me things about her husband, that I didn't know. I can't reject that. I was coming into her family. Before I came into the family, Gilra, how long had you all been married?
When you came into the family? About 15 years.
Mm-hmm. So they've been married 15 years and I'm coming in. Absolutely, I'm going to listen to what she has to say. She knows him. She knows him and he knows her. And a lot of times, sisters going into a marriage might feel like, I got something going on with him. I ain't got to ask her nothing. I don't need her. I'm going in. Me and him got something going on. That's it. No, 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 no. Never do that. That is the first step to causing big problems. You have to come in with love and humble yourself to the sister that's already in the marriage. You're coming in. And I had to show Gilra respect. That's key. And if a brother doesn't ask that of you, to show his wife respect, you got to think a little bit about him too. He has to demand respect for his family that he's already having. Very, very, very important. When I came into the family, Gilra already had 5 children. Okay, which means I had to come in and I had to be a sister to her and I had to help her with what she needed. And as the years went on and I began to have children, she helped me and showed me things. It's all a give and a take. That's why it's such a blessing to have a sister. Takia just said it. You help one another when you're in that house. Diora used to travel when we first, she used to travel with her husband when they first got married, when I first came into the family. And I was there with the children, but I was her sister. So she didn't need anybody else. I knew the children, everything was all right. And she was able to travel freely for years in and out of the country with him, knowing that I was at home with our family because my husband travels a lot. His name is Nasi Eliyahu, and he traveled a lot in our early days. And then vice versa, when I began to travel with him, she was there. All these are blessings when you have a sister wife. And I just know that you may feel like you want your own man, and he's man, and all of those things that we were taught, but believe you me, after you're in it and you have an understanding about it, you will be so happy that you have someone there at your side. When we have holy days, we come together and we work together. I don't have to do everything by myself. Gilra doesn't have to do everything by herself. We work together. And our relationship is just as important as me and Nasi's, what me and Gilra do. We have to know each other. We have to know one another. Just like I have to know my husband, she has to know him, and we have to know each other. It's all one big family. And I'm gonna let Gil Ross speak a little bit about the blessing it's been for our children growing up in a family with two mothers, because that's key. What those children see as they're growing up, oh, it makes a big difference. And our children were blessed that whatever differences that we had on this journey, in this path to get to the happy place we're at right now, exercising together, holy days together. Now, we'll say something before I turn over to Gil Rock. What our family does, so everybody can notice, it's not one standard. It's what works for your family. Everybody doesn't have to live in the same home, okay? We lived in the same home for 10 years together with our children. But after the children were older, we decided, we talked it over with our Lord, and he said, okay, if you all feel that you want to have separate homes, it's okay. But it works for us. We still come together and do all the basic things that we need to do as a family. Some families live together and all their wives, 3, 4 wives, 2 wives, whatever they have. And some choose to have different homes. But it's okay, as long as it's working and everybody has an understanding on how the family should run, it's all right. All you want is the rhythm, the proper rhythm that resonates with everybody, and you got it. So I'm gonna let Gilra, my sister, talk about our family and what she's experienced and about our children and the blessing it's been. Gilra?
Shalom, shalom. My experience with the children has been a beautiful experience because they don't know Ima Gilra, Ima Matana. They just know Ima. They don't call us Ima Gilra, Ima, they call us Ima. When we get together, we have to say, who you talk about? You know, you talk about her or her. But they don't know anything but we are their emo. And all the children, our children, we got 15 children. They are so close. They are so close. And every time we get together, you know, we have a good time. They talk about us. They tell funny stories about when they were little and how, and my girl I did so-and-so, and my they remember all those things, but it's been a good experience, having a sister wife and all these children that we have, because the way we raised them, they don't know no different. They don't know Ima Gira, Ima Matna, they just know Ima. And it's been, just a holy experience. And sometimes people don't know who had who.
Right.
They don't know who had who, because some of my children look like Havaya and some of her children look like me. So it's a blend. It's a blend. And it's really a holy thing. So that's about all I have to say, because Havaya has said so much. I don't, she covered the whole gambit of the family. Well, one thing I know is that we share our husband. We share him, even though we live in two houses. When it's his time, it's with her. It's cool with me. I have no thing about it, and she doesn't either. And he treats us, I can't say, well, when he's over there with her, I know when he over there with her, he doing the same thing that he's doing with me when he's over here with me. So we don't have that kind of, it's just beautiful. This is beautiful. That's all I have to say.
Okay, and in closing, you want me to finish?
Yeah.
Okay, in closing, I just want to say that it's a blessing. And one last thing concerning the brothers is it's real important not to show favoritism and to treat the two wives very differently. Because when you're in your private times, it's okay, whatever you do. But when you're together, brothers should always show both of his wives or three wives the same love at that moment. Because if you want to keep down any problems, this is the best way to do it. And I have to say, over these years, what's made us stick it out and not get out of this or try to get out or be unhappy in it is because Nasi Eliyahu has been balanced, very, very balanced. He treats us good. He doesn't show favoritism and one over the other. And if he's having an issue with her or issue with me, the other one don't even know nothing about it.
Right.
Because he keeps our lives private. And then when it's family time with all of us and the children, he shows everybody the same love. And this is key in the whole relationship. And that's what I want to close out on. The basic key is sisters loving one another and opening their arms and going in respectful, and the brothers being balanced and showing love to all his wives and not the favoritism. And that is all we have to say. And thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Ms. Atura Havaya, and also Ms. Sister Garira. That was so beautiful. It was so touching. I couldn't stop listening to you both. And I think the other people in the audience are absolutely blessed by this. And we're going to get back to both of you really, really soon. If we can have Sister Atura Sheifa. Sister Atura Sheifa with us today. She can join. Thank you.
Erev Tov. Good evening.
Good evening.
Erev Tov, Sheifa. Good evening. Hi. Hello. My name is my name is Atura Sheifa, and my experience is quite different from the other sisters. I will be speaking of my experience as a child with more than one mother. So it kind of dovetails on what Dora Gilra just talked about, and she kind of took all my points, but I'll just say it again. And so I am 37 years old, and I have been married for 10 years. But my experience with polygamy is mainly as a child to a father with 2 mothers. And mainly it was my mother who didn't give birth to me, who was taking care of me or up with me throughout the night. And she told me that she would have us eating food out the refrigerator, and so I could be quiet and stuff in the middle of the night. And it's a lot of times the other mother that's comforting the child, because the one mother may be asleep with another child, or maybe someplace else with another child. And so the mother is not the biological mother. Maybe she has a little bit more time that she can be able to assist with the baby. And so it allows, when it's 2 mothers there, the children benefit all around. It's always beneficial for the children, always. And like she said, joking about who had who, and sometimes the children look like the other mother. And one thing that for the children, some children are born close together. You may have 2 children born in 1 year together, one annual year, or you may have children born a year after another. And it allows these children to be very close knit and have a close bond, and they're friends. And no one is saying, this is my Imai, this is not my Imai, this is my stepbrother. No, it's only that's my brother and that's my sister. And it is always just a beautiful experience for the children. And even though in my personal situation, my father, he wasn't around all the time, but my 2 mothers are still close to this very day. And they both went and married 2 other brothers, because my father wasn't around. And so we have like other children that are brothers and sisters to us. So we have so many people, we have so many branches to the family because of these things. And one thing I can say, like Atra Havaya says, when the sisters understand each other and the sisters come together and they have mutual respect for each other, it works all the time, because the sisters are there more than the brothers in the house with the children and everything. And everybody is just so pleasant, and it's a beautiful experience. So me and my friends and a lot of people, and sometimes if one of the mothers in the family may not have biological children, all of the children still call her Ima. Nobody is saying she's not my Ima, or she is, or she may be, or that. Everyone is still saying that's my Ima. And that's the beauty of it all. She still has the experience of having children. And it's not, she doesn't feel like she doesn't have children because she didn't birth any herself. So again, it's just a very, very wonderful experience as a child, and everybody benefits from it. Salam.
Wow, thank you so much, Sister Shifa. That was so beautiful. Oh, wow, this is amazing. We have Sister Amalia. Sister Amalia, you can join us. Yeah, Sister Amalia, are you there? You can unmute yourself and you can join us. Thank you.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I did want to add, first of all, that a lot has been said and explained. I think one of the comments in the chat was, where are we? We're literally in the country of Israel. In the southern portion, the biggest city that people might be familiar with is a city called Beersheba. That's the hub of the South. So we're near Beersheba. And Gilroy and Atra Havaya are in another city, Arad, and the other 3 of us, we're in the city of Dimona in Israel. And somebody had mentioned that it takes a community or a village to raise a child. or even to grow and develop a family. And this is important because we embrace the same idea. And it's a big difference between being at peace with how we live here and living in a monogamous country, or so-called monogamous country. Culturally, we identify with the continent, and much of the East, as you probably know, has practiced the lifestyle of more than one wife. It's also important to know, well, Atara Takia had mentioned it from the beginning, that by us having the common values, ethics, morals, we're all on the same page. So, or we're striving to get there if we're not at the height of perfection. But because we do embrace the same trust, respect, honor, honesty, sharing, these values is what makes divine marriage work. Now, divine marriage can be with one spouse, one male spouse and a female, or it can be more than one female. So at any rate, the essence of it, the core of it, is that the relationship has to be divine. So when, like Atara Havaya and Giora mentioned, that once the foundation is there and the bond is tight amongst the brother and the sister, then everything added to it is just like a bonus, you know. And, you know, we all know that marriage is work. It's not something that just is, you know, that you just don't have to, you have to go in it wholeheartedly with your whole heart, soul, and might. And that makes a difference too, because we know that we are a part of a viable, life-giving source called Yah, or God, or the Holy Creator. We know that we're a part, we're not the sum total. So there's no big me and little you, but we're all in it together in the interest of life and living and furthering the interest of not only ourselves, but of our neighbors, the strangers that might come to our gates, everybody. It's in everybody's interest to be able to have a harmonious relationship at the source, at the core of your heart. It's got to be there. Otherwise, who can really thrive in strife? So I think that the values that have been mentioned and all of the positive values that you can think of, we could sit here for hours saying the values that we need to pursue. And so it doesn't matter, you know, the idea of motherhood, the idea of fatherhood, the idea of sisterhood, the brotherhood, the childhood. You know, you just have to know how heartwarming it is that you know that your children are in a safe place and your next door neighbors, as well as all the members of your household, have the interest. They're all looking out in the interest of each other at all times. So you put all of that together and that makes for a successful, happy, abundant life for everybody that's in the midst. We also have that we're not governed by, what is it, the Stepford Wives or the I don't even know the television programs, but they got some shows out there that, you know, will make you just really not own you. It at the core, it'll make you hate yourself because you just be a mean, you know, bunch of words that we don't even want to speak. But that's not the behavior that is embraced here. The behavior of, again, being thoughtful, being sensitive, being conscious, you know, this is how we operate. So we have lived in close quarters, like as has been said. There are those that live in household together, and then there are those that don't. And at the end of the day, as long as you know that the man that you cling to has the best interests of everybody involved, that's important. That's a confidence that you can be proud to walk with. And, you know, again, you have to cast down preconceived ideas about how these families are governed. These families are governed in the interest, again, of what is true and right. So the Hollywood version or the mythical, well, for us, it's definitely mythical, but the idea that the way that the brother has to govern himself, there's a lot more to marriage. Most married people already know this. Some single people may know it, but there's more to marriage than just coming together and laying down in the bed together. There's so many more pieces to the quilt, you know, so many more textures to your life and your lifestyle. You learn how to walk together, how to talk together, how to go places, how to be quiet, how to read a book together, how to watch a program together. But so in that, and I mentioned this earlier when Sarah Mario was on, the man learns how to continue to care for his wives when they're not intimate with him. But he's always got to keep them in mind too. He's got to keep everybody in mind. And as long as it's not a tussle and a fight for attention and time, then it goes along very harmoniously. So is to be revered and appreciated across the board. So in summary, I did want to mention that for us, you know, and especially like this day and age, as we are reunifying as a people, that we have to have a strategy in place in order to proliferate ourselves. And one of the best strategies is for a brother to have more than one wife, because then you could produce more children and then you can populate the land. And I like to end on that note. Thank you very much. I appreciate your attention.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mother Amalia. That was so beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. We have Ms. Ipeleng, one of our leaders here. Ms. Ipeleng, you can jump in if you'd like to say something. Ms. Ipeleng.
Shalom. Shalom, everyone.
Hello.
Shalom, shalom.
מה שלום? מה שלומך?
שלום, שלום.
בסדר.
Hello, sister.
כן, בסדר, הללויה.
Hallelujah. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you, Ima?
Excellent. Where are you?
Stop eating.
Bless you. And
Thanks.
Salvador, for those that are not in the Hebrew community, is located where?
Sliha, Ima, you are saying?
South Africa,
You were saying?
right?
Ken, Ima.
Okay.
The South African side, Johannesburg jurisdiction.
Very well.
Ken. I would love to appreciate the presentations that you, the wisdom actually that you all shared with us. In most cases, and you've touched on the misperception that we really need to work on, that the polygyny cannot work, or it's something that is not pleasant, you know. And I'm humbled by how you your sides of stories, and especially because all of you have been in there for years. It's not like it's people who are planning to do it, or people who are young and dreaming about it, or maybe starting to do it, but it's elderly people who have been in the journey for a long time. And indeed, you touched, all of you touched on the jealousy part. There's no need for us to be jealousy, and mutual respect. I believe that respect is very important for everyone, you know. If we do not relate on the basis of respect, there's nothing that we can bring or build together, and there's no kingdom that we will build together. I think what we need to look into as young women and women in general, as the purpose of marriage in general. And I like the fact that you touched on that, Ima, that there is a lot to marriage, more than just coming together and being intimate. Once we grasp that and understand the purpose of marriage is to build families. The mentioning of how the children were brought up together by two Imas, one being the helper to the other, the testimony of Ahot on how she was joyfully brought up as from a polygyny family, you know. Hallelujah to that. Toda Rabbah, Ken, and Toda Rabbah for coming forth and sharing your experiences. Nothing speaks better than experience. Toda.
Toda, thank you so much for that. We also have Brother Kabelo has joined us. For those who have questions, please raise your hand so we can be able to point you out. Those who have questions and comments, just raise your hand. We'll be giving a minute for the questions and then 3 minutes for the comments. So we have Brother Kabelo. Brother Kabelo, thank you for joining us. If you have, can say a few words.
Yes, shalom. Yeah, so that I missed part of it because I joined a little bit late, but I've gathered some remnants of the wisdom of our mothers there. It is indeed. I would love to have, maybe we could have had a little bit more background. I've listened earlier more, but I was late because I just woke up. But I'm grateful that what the mother just said at the last part, because that's one I really gathered. The most important part, it is the building up of the family, the the peace that needs to prevail, and that needs to be the goal of the community, of us as a people. Then it means you eliminate the element of selfishness, of self-centeredness, because that is not the element of the Creator. That is not the element of Yah, but it is the purpose that He give love, and love, it is the main thing that prevails. Where love prevails, there is always peace. and self, it is cast out, because that is the most important thing that is true, because Yah is love. Therefore, when you know Yah, therefore the love of Yah dwells within you, and you radiate even to others. And by so doing, there cannot be self-centeredness or selfishness that will be experienced in the process. Yeah, I think for now, so that I missed the rest, but that's the last I've gathered so far. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Does anybody have a question? I can see Mr. Wilson has raised his hand. Mr. Wilson? Mr. William, sorry, Mr. William. I saw you raised your hand. You like to?
Yes. I don't have a question to his comment. I just have a comment.
Yeah, please go on.
First of all, you look at my name. If you didn't see my face, you would assume British guy, okay? Second of all, I'm an American. I live in California. I'm an American by chance, not by choice. My mother was my God on earth. But getting to my comment, I have a Cameroonian friend. His mother got old, and she herself went out and brought another wife in. We was at the wake keeping, and you know how the Africans have wake keepings. So this man was sitting here telling us, give me 1 second. This man is sitting here telling us about his mother. And he was telling how the mother brought the second wife, and she bore children too. And the first wife would line all the children up by age. His mother, his particular mother, would line the children up by age, and there was absolutely no distinction in who they belonged to. And that was the most heartwarming story that I've heard in a long time. And, you know, in an African wake keeping, you play secular music first half and gospel first half and the secular music second half. Everybody wanted the music to start, but myself personally, I could have sat there and heard that man talk about his mother all night long, because it was a polygamy marriage and there was absolutely no problem in his family. It was a very beautiful thing. Thank you.
Wow, that is so beautiful, Mr. William. Thank you for that. Anybody who has a question, you can raise your hand in the chat so we can give you the opportunity to ask your questions. You heard the amazing sisters gave their presentation. If you have any questions towards them, you can raise your hand. And then if there's any comments as well, you can raise your hand and then we can give you the opportunity. Does anybody have a question? Or comment?
Yeah, it's not a question as such, but I like in the part of the children, it's Kabel again, sorry. On the part of the children being together, I think that is the most important thing ever that the parents, they can concentrate on, to know that they will either bring peace or division in the children next time when they are not there, because there is a point where parents will no longer be there and the siblings will remain here on earth. And what kind of life will they live if in the beginning maybe they were taught separation? Then it will bring a serious problem amongst them in the future. Therefore, I think it is important to look in advance. Like let me give myself, like, for example, when I look at my where I grew up in South Africa. I'm living right now I'm in Virginia right now. But my grandfather had 3 wives, but because of the problem of the apartheid system, then my father had finally, after his farm was taken by the white regime. He was forced to leave the first wife in the village in Kraipan with my mother, and as well as the other two wives, they went
How you doing?
Johannesburg. And he lived in Johannesburg. But my grandfather made sure that he was coming down and going up and down to make sure that all his children, they are together and there is peace and harmony amongst them. And that's what I appreciate. And we grew up with my other cousins, because my grandfather lost other children, and he was remaining with about 8. Among all 8 children that he had from the 3 wives, all of them will come together. Sometimes they'll come to the village and we'll all know each other. And as well as it was very impressive because they all knew that they were together and they were one. And their children, which it is us, the grandchildren to my father, will always come together. And that's what we learn. And my mother as well had 2 children, which is me and my sister. But we only learned when we were grown up that others, because we were all in all, other children that my mother took to be with us as is her children. We were all about, I would say we were all about, the other 6 children were 8, brought up together with my grandmother in the village. Other 6, they belonging to the other cousin of my mother from my mother's side. She passed away and she had to take them and adopt them and bring them up. And we grew up together just like that. And only we learned when we grow old that, yes, it is true, even though 2 of you were belonging to my mother, but all of us, we knew that we were brothers and sisters. And there was no difference. And even today we grew up, our parents both, they're sleeping, the sleep of death, but we all grew up, we all, even our children, they know that this is, my uncle and all that. We still, the peace and the joy amongst all children, it is still there, which it is something that among the children needs to be taken over, needs to be passed on, to know and to appreciate a family togetherness. And one thing that no mother never, even when she reprimand, to show any favoritism, maybe towards those who are her own children. The discipline was the same, everything was the same, buying clothes, whatever, everything was the same. And was teaching the older how to take care of the younger ones and how the young ones to respect those who are older. And because that's what she took from her father, which is my grandfather, the way how they do. And even sometimes we used to see that, even how the younger brother to my grandfather will come and bow down before him when they visit him. It was very impressive. But that was the teaching to know and to be taught that the younger ones, how they pay respect to the elders and how they should respect. And that love radiates right throughout, even in the midst of the influence that was not even right in the community, but still that was kept. Then I thought that the children is the most important. Parents, they can make the difference to break down or to build down the young ones due to how they intimate and they relate one another in the family. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Kobelo. We have Miss Tila here, Mr. Beleng. Yes.
Okay, I will simply ask one of the imas to just touch on the implications of the developing children or the developing mind when they grow up on an environment that is not peaceful. I'm looking into this based on the fact that the kingdom, when it's developed, or when you develop a family, according to he says that we need to bring forth seeds in his likeness, and hence it's so important for the family to be in a harmonious environment. However, I wish them to touch base on the implications on the negative impact of children not growing up in a harmonious environment. Toda.
Recording in progress. We have.
I can answer.
Yeah, go on.
Shalom, my name is Naomi.
Welcome, Naomi. Go on.
I am from Israel. I grew up in a plural marriage. My father has 3 wives, and I also married a Rofe here who is married. So I'm in a plural relationship. So pretty much my experience is like She'ifa's, Atura She'ifa, where you know, we grew up where we just grew up. It was just the children and our mothers and our father, and we just, you know, that was our life. We didn't know really anything like different or to compare it. It was just our lives. But a point is, to answer the sister's question, is my father was very, 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 it was very, very important to him that all of his children knew that they were his children, no matter, not so much to kick the mothers out, but no matter what the mothers may have been going through, if it was different things going on in the family, he always put us to the side and let us know that we're his children. So I know that had a lot to do with us, you know, like creating that harmonious situation with us. And when it comes to the mothers, I think when you're a mother and you know there's other children around, you naturally gravitate to them and open up to them. And if it's a sister who's thinking of becoming a part of your family, or somebody that is a part of your family, you will build your relationship with your sister, and the children just naturally connect you all. I know personally, like my sister wife is a midwife, and she's like delivered most of my children. And I don't care what we're going through. I don't care if something really, really serious happened between us, which it really doesn't. But if something might happen, I know that she loved my children. She loved my children. So whatever I'm feeling, it just fall to the side. And she know that I love her children, and they're all our children. So we, you know, that's like always our goal and objective. Like we're in this, whatever may happen, the children are like the light at the end of the tunnel. So to answer the sister question, if it's something you're thinking about doing, or if you're in that situation, you really just have to let all things fall to the side and always look at the children for like you're creating a better life for them, or you don't want them to have to repair from their childhood. You know, some people who have to go to therapy for you know, being raised in a crazy household. So you don't never want your children, the children that are in your family, to have to go through that. So you always just say, you know, whatever may be going on. Like I never heard my parents argue, never. And I'm sure they had things going on, but I've never heard my parents argue. So, you know, I've never really heard my mothers argue. It might be some little something that happened in the kitchen or something, but I've never heard like arguing in my household. And like I said, I'm sure they went through stuff. I'm sure it was things they wanted to say or get off their chest, but we never heard it. So, you know, maybe they went to the mountains, maybe they waited till all the children to sleep. I don't know, but we never heard that. So you really just have to take those things into consideration, and you just have to know that, you know, when it comes to the children, you're creating the environment, and you're planting different seeds in their brains for a successful relationship, or to be positive human beings, or whatever it is you may want for your children. So the children that are in a family are the children. They're your children too, whether you naturally had them or not. But they're the children in the family are the children of family. It's like we do all of this for the children mainly right now, especially when they're growing up and they're small people. So I hope that answered your question.
Well, that was beautiful. It's Naomi, that was absolutely beautiful. We have a hand from Miss Amalia. Miss Amalia, Sister Amalia, please go on. You can see a hand from Amalia. You can unmute your mic.
Here I am. Okay. I just wanted to add I know quite a few on this call are born and raised at home in Africa on the continent, correct? Brother Arby?
Correct.
Yes.
All right. And likely our experience being born and raised in diaspora can be different. And we went through a bit, the painful aspect of, being estranged from our motherland. And with that estrangement, there was a lot of pain. Part of the pain, and you can still hear it today. You go to visit, I went to visit America in July, and hearing from my relatives talking about stepbrother and stepsister, Our children, they're brother and sister, period. Their father may have fathered children by different mothers, but they're brothers and sisters at the end of the day. The pain that goes along with growing up and learning later that my father had extraneous relationships and children. I met my stepbrother, this is a very much real and thriving aspect of our lives today. So I wanted that to be said because it's been all part of the healing process of returning to who we are as a people, returning to the core of Yah's chosen people. And in that, some of the best blessings and benefits is the ability to be honored and nourished and treasured with relationships of more than one wife in a marriage. It's a real game changer. The other thing, I think about the negotiating. It's no wonder these brothers and sisters will become the best negotiators that you would ever meet, because we have different, just like it was mentioned, we have our personalities and we are entitled to them. She loves green and I love red, and the family's got to pick a color for Passover, and I'm stuck on red and she's stuck on green. But we come up with the conclusion that Passover is going to come again next year. I yield to your green. Let's put on the green. And next time around, red can be the color. So negotiation is like at the core. You can believe, again, why we make great ambassadors for wherever we go, whoever we're with.
I would just like to dovetail on what Amali was just saying also, and also to go along with the question of the sister regarding the children, because people ecology, we live so close together. And like Amalia said, or someone said, that it takes a village to raise a child. And if there is some kind of little tenseness within the family, then that's where the people ecology come in. Then there's another sister or the neighbor or someone would also begin to nurture, to assist in nurturing that child so that he would be more balanced. So I just wanted to inject that in regarding our people ecology. and, you know, taking a village to raise a child. Excellent.
Wow, absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that response. We had a hand from Shaya Eshed Yahav. Shaya Eshed Yahav, if you can come in.
Is it
Shaya.
Shayara? Shayara.
Ken.
Atara Shayara.
Hi, Shaya.
Oh, Shaya.
No,
That's
it's,
Shaya. Yes. Good.
it's also Shaya. Shalom, shalom, fam.
Oh,
Shalom, shalom. מה שלומך?
Lucia and
Shalom,
Ken.
shalom.
Ken, my question is to our presenters. Being that we are a community, you know, that shares these particular values and this way of life, how do you deal with the situation whereby the husband is interested in a sister that's outside of the community? How would you deal with that situation?
yes, Sister Matanas can reply. Yes, go on, Sister Tura.
You calling on me?
Yes,
Okay.
Sister Tura. Go on.
What we do in those situations is the sister has to be brought around to meet the family. And if the brother decides that that's the sister that he would like to marry and it's agreed upon in the family, then she has to go through absorption, where she has to learn about our culture, our ways, how we do things. And it's a whole process. And it takes many classes. And if in the end she agrees to all of these things, then it's no reason she can't be married to the brother, because it has to be within the community, within our guidelines, because there's a lot of things that we do that somebody that's not involved wouldn't know about. So she'll come in, learn everything, and then if everything is okay, she can marry the brother. Sit down.
Wow, absolutely beautiful.
That's it.
Yes, go on.
No, that's it.
Wonderful.
If that answers your question.
Wonderful, thank you. Any other Imas would like to answer the question? We have any other? Wonderful. We have a hand from Sister Kenya Shu. Sister Kenya Shu, over to you.
Shalom, shalom. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for the amazing presentations. I'd just like to know more about the groundings, the training, in terms of the duration of the when you somebody decides they want to join your community, and you offer facilitation to know the ways of the village. How long, is there a set time for these groundings to happen, or you know when the time has arrived for that sister to join the relationship? So is there a set time, minimum or maximum, or you come to the understanding that we are ready? Do you understand me? For us to take it to the next stage. It's like in African marriages where people get married and it's not just the marriage of the individuals, the husband and wife, it's a marriage of families. And then you have certain principles which the husband and wife sign up to in that tradition. So in regards to polygamy and those relationships and how the sister wives are the ones that really facilitate the process and keep it moving, other than, you know, the husband going off and bringing a really young sister wife into the mix without having those discussions and those narratives around how that's going to work. And it has happened in the past and historically, where the husband will go off and then bring a wife with no negotiation and no dialogue with the existing sister wives, which creates a lot of problems. So the question I'm asking is that in terms of what you're doing, it sounds quite positive. In terms of the groundings, I call groundings is a connection you have with the sister that wants to join the relationship. And how long does that facilitation take? Is there a set time, or you all know when you can go to the next stages? Thank you.
Yes, go on, Sister Tura, you can answer the question.
Okay. First of all, there is a set time. It's a whole process that has to be gone through. Initially, the brother and sister meet. They find they have a connection. Then he's going to go home and he's going to discuss it with his wife. And then she'll be brought in to meet the family, okay? Then there is a process. It's not a matter of time, it's a matter of how many classes, because there's a certain amount of things that she has to learn.
70 days.
Then after she goes through the classes, then it can be decided if she agrees to everything and the family is okay with everything, then she goes into Mikodesha, which is engagement. And that's 70 days, and it can be longer, where they get classes together. The brother and the sister, and the brother and the sister and the wife. From the priesthood, they teach them, and they can ask questions, or if they haven't been, it's not quite going well, they're able to discuss these things. And that's what the Mikodesha period is for you to decide if this can work, if the harmony between the family is okay, if it's working, and that's what it depends on. And if after the 70 days, it needs more time because it's not harmonious enough, then you can take more time until things are worked, or you can decide this is not for us and you can disconnect from it. No hard feelings, it just, we went through the class, we went through the Mikodesha, that this is not for us, then they can exit and everybody goes on with their lives. So I hope that answers your question, or do you need further clarity?
Atara.
Thank you very much for your response. And also, just quickly, okay, so you're free to walk away if things aren't gelling correctly. I understand that. Are there any cases where everybody goes through the process and things appear to be going really well, then things start falling apart and not working? Because, you know, it's life, isn't it? And life sometimes doesn't work the way in which we all want it to. So are there situations where a sister wife is brought into the mix, everything appears to be going well, and then is not working so well, and that sister wife might decide to leave the compound or the situation? Thank you.
You know, Sister KS, KS, what does that stand for?
It's Kenya Sue.
Kenya
Sue.
Nice to meet you, my sister. You know, there are so many inevitabilities. And one thing that I think has to be mentioned is that the sister has and is going to receive encouragement every step of the way to learn more about the community from which the brother comes from, right? Because within there, then when she understands really the mores and the traditions and the culture, then she can see more clearly if that's what she wants to embrace. You know, you might have some energy, electricity between a male and a female, but the sisters are always encouraged to look deeper into the community that the brother comes from. And the community assists the family. It all works in the same direction. And the sister may go through the process and say, well, I don't really, I don't really, I just don't embrace this idea of one God, or I don't, so you have to know that there's many different inevitabilities, and that there is a system that's in place. The sister would be involved with the sisterhood. She would sit with other sisters. She would come to understand, because in our lifestyle, there's a woman's role and there's a men's role. And she would have to become close to all of that in order to really understand the essence of who the brother is in the first place. Because once the book, you can't read a book by its cover. You have to go deeper. So, and there are those that come and there are those that go on both sides, male or female. So there's no ball and chain. There's no
right and wrong, really. No right and wrong. And also, you Hebrew Israelites, yeah? Is that the? Yes.
Yes, sister.
So do you do farming? I'm just coming off topic now. I'm just interested. So do you do farming?
Without question.
Absolutely. Thank you, my sisters. That was absolutely beautiful.
Where do you reside?
In London.
Okay. All right.
United
Kingdom. We may be able to introduce you to the community there, because we do definitely have members in different parts of London.
Thank you very much, my sister. I probably know them. I know a brother that's a member of the Hebrew Israelites, Dr. Ben, I can't remember his name. We're friends. And so, yeah, I'm very much interested in farming and things like that. I do permaculture and solar tech. I know I'm going off key. I need to stop because I'm getting so excited. Thank you very much, my sisters.
Wow, thank you so much. That was beautiful conversation between, and a beautiful response as well. We'll be getting to Ms. Peleng soon. After this, we have one of our leaders here. But Gilbert is here. He's also from, his family is also, his parents were also from Polygyny. So, Brother Gilbert, any comments before we move on to Ms. Peleng? Brother Gilbert, are you there? Okay, we have Brother Yannick. Brother Yannick, you have a few words to say before we maybe take a question from Mr. Peleng. Yeah, Brother Yannick.
Good evening. Just listening. Apologies, I did show up half an hour late, so I missed the first section of it. I do come from a polygamous family, two mothers, so I can relate in a specific way to the conversation. It's interesting that we're having having it as a conversation in the first place. But having grown up in the UK, in London with Sister Kinyasu, I can also understand why we're having it. So it's been really, really interesting. And interestingly enough, on top of that, the first conversation I've had since leaving Cameroon in 1993 with regards to polygamy. It's not even a thing there. So here where I live, even the law, if you look very closely, it's not in line with. So it's a completely different system. I really encourage it, and I thank Zola Bantu for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a question from Mr. Peleng. Your hand is up. Mr. Peleng.
And I would love to request the Aturim to just touch based on Okay, let me just be put the question as it is. Is polygyny a sin according to and also touch base on the definition of marriage according to because I'm raising this because it's one of the areas that cause a lot of confusion and embraces monogamous marriage over polygamous marriage, as if polygyny it's more filthy, it's more unapproved by and so on and so forth. Okay, into that.
It's more approved by.
Yes, we can have any of the emails can respond. Mr. Tura, she's there, you can respond, please.
You ready? Okay, go ahead.
I just want to ask, when you say it's not approved by God, I didn't quite understand what you were saying. Is that what the end of your question was saying?
Oh, Ima, what? Slicha, Ima.
Your question actually is what? I didn't quite get the way you were putting the question. Can you just make one statement on your question so that we can answer it?
Ken, is polygyny a sin?
No. Why do you feel polygamy is a sin?
As I said, Ima, I'm raising this because it's one area that causes confusion. And embraces monogamous marriage against polygamous marriage, polygyny, and hence I request that you touch based on such and teach on such that what does Yah say? How does Yah define marriage? And what does Yah say of polygyny? Toda.
Okay, in the Bible, I don't know the exact reference for Isaiah, but it says 7 women shall cling to 1 man. And Yah also talks about being fruitful and multiplying. And Akola mentioned earlier that when we're talking about being fruitful and multiply, the way you can get more children is by having more wives, because they're going to fill the land up by having children. So it definitely is not a sin. I've never heard that polygamy is a sin. So I don't want to steer you to say that. I would say no, absolutely not.
And to dovetail, on what Atara Habaya is saying, first of all, most men have more than one woman. The wife might not know about it. So the thing about it is, once you take that sister and bring her home to make her your wife, then everything is up front. Your wife knows about it. Everybody knows about it, and it's not anything that. Now that's the portion is sinful. If you would say something, that's deceiving. That's deception. Bring her home. Take care of her, and you take care of the rest of the family. In addition to that, there are more women than there are men. So the women that don't have a man, what are they supposed to do? Just think about it. Just think about it. So it's better that a man take another wife. Of course, he have to talk to his wife. They have to discuss it. Then he'll bring her in and take her as a wife and then build a family rather than sneaking around with her. Bring her home.
We also have to take into account the confusion that religion has brought. That's where the problem lies, because remember, the idea of life and living has to do with reverence for everything, reverence for the creation, reverence for the creator and the created. So we know that our forefathers, as we are Hebrew Israelites, prior to Abraham, Abraham had more than one wife. Remember? Many of the forefathers had more than one wife. And that was the way of life.
Right.
And once religion came in, they introduced the concept, a deceptive concept called monogamy. And most of us that witness monogamy know that it wasn't, in fact, all it purported to be. Again, the deception was rampant. We witnessed it growing up in the diaspora with our own eyes, some in our own homes. So, no, if, as a matter of fact, it's healthier living because you know the hygiene of your brother and your sisters. And you, I mean, you know, some of the unfortunate transmitted diseases, we don't experience that. So if I think that religion is what brings in this concept of sin. But religion can condone, you know, partying all night, Friday night, getting drunk and then coming to church. Or religion can condone immodesty. Religion can condone same-sex relationships. So we can't use modern Western, especially religion, as the measuring rod.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Ken Toda Ima, you've just nailed it. All I needed is just that it's been explained that Yah is not against polygyny, and it's actually not even a sin. As I said, that I wish you to highlight on, because there's this misperception. So Toda Rabba.
Toda. Thank you so much, Ms. Peleng, for the question, and our imams for answering the beautiful question. Yeah, last week when we had Mr. Sorry for that. Last week we had Mr. Gabriel Mafunde. He gave us a presentation on polygyny. He mentioned something very interesting. He said that the day that his father died, on the funeral, all of a sudden, he discovered that he had many siblings he never even knew. You know, so many people appeared in the funeral, and he was like, oh my God. So we had many children. My father had many children all over. So it's really important for men to be honest. Like you say, if you really feel like, okay, you want another person, you should be able to negotiate with your wife and bring them home, instead of situations where at the end, all of a sudden, children come from everywhere, and then there's a lot of problems as well. But the question I want to ask the imams is, from your experience as a woman, understanding the role of a woman and also the body of a woman as well, do you think it would work the other way around, of a woman having multiple?
Absolutely not.
Go on, please. You can unmute your mic, I can see. And do you think it can work the other way around? Can a woman have multiple? Polyandry, they say. Thank you.
No.
You know what? I think that's even a question that Sister Kenya Sue could answer as an agronomist. Okay. You remember
my thoughts?
Remember the relationship between man and land?
Yes. And
right.
And who's going to be the heir in terms of woman as a vessel? It can't work.
So explain it for us, sister.
From my understanding, is the functions of men and women are different spiritually and biologically, and for a woman to have multiple husbands poses the question in terms of women having children, and generally in the African tradition that's been adopted or otherwise, the firstborn son would be the successor of the heir. So in the case of women having multiple husbands, that would bring about a lot of confusion. And I think spiritually, women as being a vessel who actually gives birth to children, the mother of civilization, it's inappropriate. Even though the feminists might not agree with me, I'm entitled to my opinion. And so I'm coming from that angle in terms of succession and the firstborn and those arrangements. It would bring about a lot of confusion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Physically and spiritually. So park that one.
Perfect. That's perfect. And Yah doesn't dwell in the midst of confusion. In addition to that, one man is enough. Because can you imagine having more than one? I can't imagine having more than one man now.
I want to add on to that. When you think about a man can impregnate many women at one time, and he'll know who each of his mothers, their children are. But a woman, if you lay with more than one man, how do you know whose seed it is? You got to think about that's a real high point. That's why it was made like that. The Creator put everything in order so that we would know what to do. And that's one of the high points that we have to look at. Okay?
Absolutely. Very interesting.
I have a question.
Please go on. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go on.
This is Menuka. Shalom, everybody.
Hello.
Shalom. My camera. Okay, shalom, everybody. My question is, I came in really late, but my question is, I don't know if I missed a lot, but how do we, because I know most of the emote on here, but how do we relate it to our peer? I'm 37, and there are a few of us who would really like, this, I'm gonna say the setup, because we would love to do it, but how can we make it work in this age, basically, in 2021?
Very interesting question.
Well, go ahead.
I'm just asking, it's no different. Life is life, 2021 and 1870. It's the way that you approach things, the way you perceive things, and the way that you enter into it. It's not that big of a difference. You weren't here for the beginning, but it's a mutual respect and a mutual love that you have for one another. And that's how you enter into it. If you're entering into something, you're going to give respect and credence to the wife inside and her family, her children, and the same thing. She has to open her arms and show you love. So it's not just the same thing that would happen if it was a century ago. Love and life doesn't change that much. Okay, it's a matter of if you want to accept it the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
All right, so I hope that will answer your question, and any of the other emote that want to add in can, but it's all about love and compassion and knowing that your sister needs a man just like you, and you opening your arms to her.
Yeah, I love that part. That's what because I was raised with, I was born into the world with two mothers. I did not even know who my mother was until my parents got a divorce. And I actually was living with the mother that wasn't my biological mother. So I understand the benefits of it, and I understand the confusion and the trauma that the children can experience. I understand it now that I'm a mother, a divorced mother with 4 children. I would love that for my children. I would love that for us. I would say I'm a fan because I understand how it can work. I really understand how it can work. But back then it was the man was the breadwinner, and the Ima stayed home and took care of everything. The Ima did everything basically, but today the Ima are the breadwinners as well. So how do we make that work today where the children are nurtured and provided for and get love from both. You know, what I'm saying is, how can we make it where we talk about polygamy, right? So how can we do that today where everybody do their part and you understand? Y'all understand?
We understand.
Here.
We understand.
Because we're having this conversation for a reason. So,
okay, but it's all about sitting down and working together. Whatever's going to work for your family. Okay, if she's working, both of you all are working, okay, then you have to figure out, do we need to get a babysitter? Or one might say, well, I'll work and you stay home. It's a matter of being considerate of one another and being concerned with your children's upbringing. You all as a family, the brother and the emote, have to sit together and figure out how we can make this work. It doesn't just drop out the sky, it's discussion. It's the situation that you all are in. Every situation is different, it's not the same. So according to your particular situation, something that works for you may not work for us over here, but it's still all about sitting down, communicating, organizing, and making it work for the whole. That's what I can tell you. You'd have to give me a specific situation and then I could give you more detail, but overall, that's what has to be done. Working together, organizing it as a family and how it can best work for us.
Okay, I asked that for my generation because a lot of us struggling with that. Because like a few people said, the brothers are gonna do their thing. They're gonna do it. So it's on the sisters to understand what it is and how understand how it can benefit us and basically understanding it. So ta-da. Okay, shalom.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Hallelujah.
Beautiful. We have Brother Gilbert. Brother Gilbert, you can jump right in. And then we'll have a question for Brother Cabello. Brother Gilbert? Yes.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Hello.
I'm so glad that this conversation is going on. It's so, for me personally, it's exciting. Given that I myself, I grew up in a polygamous home. And given it being our culture, there is something that there's a trend that is going on. And the trend is that the more our people get educated, the more they run away from their culture.
True.
So when I see ourselves discussing, putting conversations like this, to me, it's really important that we are getting conscious, getting aware of ourselves. And also, as we know, to break up a people, the best thing is to do is just to break the culture. It doesn't matter what other methods people can use, what kind of war methods whatsoever, but once the culture is broken, everything is broken. So I'm excited that we are reconsidering and looking back at our cultural aspect of ourselves. That's just a little comment I wanted to make here. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Brother Gilbert. Thank you so much for that. I wanted to ask Brother Cabello from a physiological perspective, you know, the possibility and impossibility of a woman having more than one man. The Amos responded very powerfully. I wanted to know from Brother Cabello, from your physiological, is there perspective on this? Brother Cabello? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Of course, when we look at how we are created, a woman is a receiver and the man is a giver. And when nature itself, it tells even how we are created. A woman cannot have multiple men. You know, it doesn't just add, it doesn't make sense. You know, it goes even against the mental wave of nature, of how things resonate. you know, and number two, it is when we look from the Bible perspective, we realize that it is Yah, when Yah commanded men that a man, you will give him a helper. It means there is a responsibility that a man has. And a helper in what? Someone who helps you, it means you have been given a vision, a responsibility here on earth as individual, as a man, or as a priest, so to say. Then a helper will help assist to build up that kingdom. Therefore, a woman being given to help you out, help, it is something that is mentally, physically, spiritual. And it is in all aspects. And therefore, looking into all those aspects, to me, the mind works in a way that when a man is there, having or building up his family or his kingdom or his village in the past in Africa, a man will go with his wife and they will build, and they'll be there building up. It will start a village. He will become the king of that village, you know, and he will teach his children according to the ways of how things should be, how they need to be brought up, and how they respect nature and so forth. But now, the way how a man is built, it's a planting of a seed for that to grow. How is a woman planting a seed? Because he is a receiver for the seed to multiply. Therefore, it's just on itself go against the nature, you know, even from the cultural perspective, African cultural perspective, things how in the past things were done. It is a taboo, you know, or called, I will use the word abomination, if I'm allowed to use that word. Because, as I said, a woman being the receiver. In the past, someone had said, when a man come and met with a woman to be one with that woman, it means the woman will receive even the part of the DNA of that man to be one to build up that generation. But now, if a woman will start having multiple DNA genes within herself as a receiver, it creates someone said different, controversial energies within herself, you know, a mixed feelings, improper sound judgment, how things ought to be done, or family has to be ruled. And that on itself create a problem. Hence, even when you look even in the Bible, in the past, you know, when we study, when someone was making the studies that when you study, a man will, if a man found sleeping with a woman, depending on the situation, if it's a rape, the man will be killed, the lady will be left out. But if they are found together, let that man marry that woman. It's to us a mercy. He doesn't expect that to go anywhere, and that becomes it is his wife, because physiologically, how he deposited, what is he expecting, and thereafter for the seed that he deposited into that, even though a child may not come forth, but for the fact that he knew that woman, he will have to, it has joined, you know, not only the attached emotional, but physiologically, and as well even spiritually, because originally helper supposed to be the helper, and when you're attached, or the body comes together, attaching themselves together, helping or that concept or that attachment, that that connection plays a very important role in what God determined in the beginning for that relationship to be, and the children that will be brought forth thereafter.
Absolutely.
That's my perspective how I see things at the solo, but I didn't go much I know into physiological part of it as you asked me to.
Thank you so much. We close in the next 5 minutes. We always value time, and so before we close, I'd just like to give an open mic to our emails to say their final words for today, and then after that we'll definitely be closing, and then you can join us on our WhatsApp group. I sent the link. You can also join us on our YouTube page. You can follow the other lectures. You can also visit our website as well. So to come to a closing of our session for today, I'll give a minute to each of our emails just to say their final words. And then we'll definitely put their numbers on the chat so you can get in touch with them if you'd like to be educated more. We'll start with Sister Atura. You can see her over there. Matana's iPod, please, if you can give us your final words. Thank you.
I just want to say this has been a pleasure and a joy to talk on this subject. And I hope that those listening were able to get out of this something that will help them understand polygamy on a much higher level, because everybody doesn't understand it, but it's a very good cultural way of building communities. And I want to say one small point that I didn't get a chance to say earlier, which is to the sister, I hope she's still here, about if a child is in a relationship and it's a lot of disharmony. That's why it's very important for the father and the mothers to be in harmony together, because they won't allow the children to be a part of their disagreements that they may have. They shouldn't see you argue and go through a lot, because what it can do, it can cause resentment towards the other mothers or the other mothers that are involved. So when they see harmony, they learn to love everyone equally in the family. It's key, because they'll grow up and they can have problems behind that kind of relationship. So key, love and harmony from the parents, and this will make the children have that kind of love for the parents as they grow up and throughout their lifetime. And they'll bring that into their next generation, and that will continue and continue. But thank you so much, and I've enjoyed this, and we will follow some of the other lectures. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. You can have Sister Atura, Crown Sister Tekia, the final words. You can mute your mic, Sister Tekia. Yes.
Okay. I'd like to thank everybody and thank you for the opportunity. And for all of those that tuned in on us, we hope that we were able to answer some of your questions and you feel a little bit better about, a little bit more comfortable with this idea. And we want you to know that everything is, beginnings are not always easy. But the thing about it is, like I said before, that the glue that makes this work is God. You have to have God in the equation. And other than that, it would be very, very difficult. You must communicate. It is so, so, so important to communicate. I cannot express that enough. Communication. Teach the children. Love the children. Touch the children. Embrace the children. The children have to feel love, you know, and talk, you know. So again, we hope that we've been able to assist a little bit. And as we said before, we pray this will not be our last time. And thank you.
Thank you. And we have Sister Amalia over there. Would you like to? Yes, final words. Thank you.
Okay. Brother Arby, and the host of others who are here. Thank you so much for being here. I applaud the hosts for stimulating this dialogue, causing a platform for it to be presented. And in addition to what all the rest of the sisters have said, I want to encourage everyone to dig deeper and ask questions. You know, get familiar with the new subject matter if it's new, and you know, use your own intelligence and your heart and your spirit to investigate the matter, and pray and meditate. Ask Yah for guidance, and you'll be well on the way to a greater understanding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Finally, we have Ima Shifi Atura Shiifa.
Yes, I'm not one of the emote, but here I am, and I just would like to say thank you again for the opportunity to be able to also listen to some of you all's testimonies, and we've learned a lot. And yes, thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you so much. Mr. Peleng can close for us. Mr. Peleng, we have an amazing night to everybody, and
Yes. About to the Atarim Akhoti for taking this opportunity to share the, as I've said, the wisdom and most of all the experience that you've heard or that you're having, and the knowledge on polygyny, and enlightening our people that it's actually a doable something, because all that people have heard, it's all the negativities and the assumption and so on and so forth. So it's so beautiful to have people who have lived the life, who are still living the life, and to give testimony and say, yes, indeed it is. Therefore, it serves as a motivation to those who wish to, or who might consider, or those who were confused around, even to those who didn't know that even in this era, especially in this era of today, that this is doable and is possible. Toda Rabah for that, and I'm humbled. Much appreciation, Ken, and Toda Rabah to thank you all members of Zola Bantu for tuning in, and all those who joined in today. I'm humbled. May you have a peaceful night. Meditate on the lessons that you've got and start working on implementing. The importance of knowledge is that once you've received knowledge, you need to apply it so that you can enjoy the benefits thereof. So thank you very much. I'm humbled, and hallelujah.
I saw your hand from Miss Naomi, but if she's still there, she can say something. But thank you, everyone, for joining.
Hello.
Thank you all.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
This is called Giora. Hello. This is a called Giora. I
Yes.
just want to say that I really enjoyed the session, and I really appreciate the time that you all took to talk to us. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Gilbert. Thank you, Brother Cabello. Thank you, Brother Yannick. And thank you, the amazing Imas. Thank you, Anyanya. Thank you, Bituka. Brother Chanok. Thank you. Thank you, Eliad, Elishama. Please leave your emails and your phone number on the chat so we can get in touch with you. It's good to be in a family. You can just leave your email or your phone number. We'll get in touch with you. For more lectures, we can send you the links much easier. Thank you, Elishama. Thank you, Fire Choir. Fred Ako. Thank you, Mr. Malone. It's always an honor to have Mr. Malone. Thank you, Hope Robinson, Catherine Edwards. Thank you, King Yore. Thank you, Levi. Thank you, Madi. Thank you, Matanya Uve Amida. Thank you, Melatia. Thank you, Miss Naomi, for leaving your number. Just put the code. Which code is it? Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Nakum. Thank you, Nava. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Renayat Mo. Thank you, Ridu Fadia. Thank you, Shef Bat Israel. Thank you, Miss Simone. Sister Kenya Su, thank you for the beautiful questions. Sister Queen Zinga, it's always an honor to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Zedekia, Sula Mo, Velvet. Thank you, Mr. William. Thank you, Yada. Ishiba, Gabriel, thank you. Rosina. Really appreciate you all for joining us. It was an honor to have you all. Thank you for dropping your emails. Thank you. Have a beautiful week ahead. Thank you. Remember to visit the Zola Bantu
Thank you,
website.
everyone.
One of our key partners is BME Volunteers and Yekola Academy. You can visit their website and know more about them. You can also visit the Zola Bantu website as well. Thank you all. Thank you, Brother Cabello, for the beautiful explanation. I'll be calling you to understand more. Thank you. Brother Gilbert, thank you all. Please, as you leave, please leave your emails and your phone number, please. Thank you.
Good day. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, Mr. Malone. Thank you.
All right.
Brother, I wasn't able to participate in the whole thing. Is this going to be recorded and sent out?
Yeah, it will be on YouTube in a few hours, and you'll be able to see it. You can just search Zola Bantu on YouTube. Yeah, go on.
Zola Bantu YouTube?
Yes, just click on Zola Bantu on YouTube. You'll be able to find the channel. You can subscribe to it. In a few hours, I'm going to upload the video, and then you'll be able to access it. You can also watch the previous episodes we had with we had the open mic, the first episode, and then we had the second episode, Mr. Sa. You can watch it on YouTube, and you can also watch.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that one. All right, I know. Okay, so that's your YouTube channel.
Absolutely, you can subscribe and you can share with your families and friends. Thank you all. Thank you. I will be taking some time to write down the emails, so feel free to leave the meeting if you.
Where do we put the emails? Oh, hold on.
Just type in the
comment,
the chat, and I'll be able to.
Okay. I see it. Thank you.
Welcome.